I don't see Pastor Dave. Pastor Dave, are you here? I don't, come on.
Father, we come to you knowing that we lack knowledge and insight and wisdom into many areas of our lives. And Father, so on behalf of our community, our village, we seek your counsel, we seek your wisdom. We ask, Father, that you would guide our thoughts, instruct us, guide our decisions. May they be decisions that will honor you, honor our community, allow us to love our people the best that we possibly can. And we just commit this evening to you in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. At this time, could we all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I do roll call, I just wanted to mention that our lawyer, Larry, knock on wood, how many meetings a man ever misses, his wife had a knee operation today. So he's at the hospital with her. So. With that in mind, roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Here.
Trustee Horn?
Here.
Trustee Razik?
Present.
Trustee Wilson?
Present.
Trustee Udris?
Here. Okay, we'll move on to the open to the public. Agenda items only. If you have something you'd like to say, please step forward.
Hello, my name is Ken Vasica, 5824 West Roosevelt Street, and I know you're going to take up the cannabis issue, and I want to be able to address that with you today. I look at this situation, and I know I heard everybody from last week and where things are at, and I look at it as it's not really what's going to happen in January. It's going to be June, July, and August. If nobody supports this place, the market works, and it has to move on. It has to make money. These businesses are here because we support these businesses. I think if you want to define this neighborhood, you have to look at our churches. We have to look at the creamery. We have to look at the park. We have to look at the Mavericks. We have to look at a lot of things. We're not defined by one particular business. Brian's doesn't define the whole neighborhood. The neighborhood is us. We're the people. And I understand we have different views, but this is a view that I wanted to have a say about, and I think that we should not keep out a business just on any particular reason. We have to have a good reason why we're keeping it out. And I think that when you vote, you have to be looking at June, July, and September, not the flash in the pan of what's going to happen in January. Not only that, you're going to see these businesses in other communities. It's not like you can shield yourself and just stay in Monee and never see it again. They're not in business to entice people to come in off the street and this and that. They put up their shingle like anybody else. Liquor stores are here, and they don't entice people to come in their door. They have their shingle out, and they say, hey, listen, if you want to use it, you use it. And that's how everybody is. So I just think that in order to keep a business out of Monee, you have to be able to think about what is a good reason that you're going to say no. Thank you.
Anyone else for open to the public? Okay. Someone else? I'm sorry.
Elizabeth Rakes, 6014 West Ford Court, Monee, Illinois. On the cannabis, I just want to say that I wanted to go on record that I'm not for the cannabis business coming into our town. However, if you guys decide to vote for that, from what I understand, you're asking for 1.5% on the taxes. I think if you're going to vote that way, I believe you should ask for the 3% that we can ask for, because it will help our town, and it will cover the cost of maybe some more police officers that you may encounter down the line, because grant you, maybe the building will be very secure, but it doesn't stop people from trying to rob the people that have just walked out of the place. So, with that being said, if it's something you're going to vote on, then you need to take the max amount. You need to request the max amount of tax that they will allow our town to get. I was at the police station earlier today. Project Blue Eye has arrived. I was able to view the camera. I'm very excited about that. Hopefully, if that cannabis business does come into our town, that will help as well. I asked the chief to contact me as soon as he gets it up on the pole, because Dave, you and I, our agreement, Janet, you were there, 30 days. They're going to view it for 30 days, Mr. Pop. After 30 days, I expect the check to come in, because I promised you I'll be knocking at that door. Again, I've said it many times, the only thing I own at the end of the day is my word, and I'm going to keep my word and hold you, this board who has voted on it, passed it, I'm going to hold you accountable for that check. If you can secure this building and the rec center for $21,000, you can damn sure secure the residents of Monee. I'll be here in 30 days. Thank you.
Okay, Liz. Anyone else for open to the public? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Roll call. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez? Yes. Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Thank you. Now we'll go to the clerk's report. Denisha.
Thank you, Mayor Pop. Just one thing, I know we have a ways away from it. However, the county had us to submit our early voting agreement so that they can get everything prepared and online. So just giving everybody heads up that on Monday, March 9th, we start our early voting here at the village Monday, March 9th, and it will end Saturday, March 14th. It will be for Monee residents only. And the days will be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And Saturday, March 14th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Thursday, March 12th from 1 to 7 p.m. Of course, I will make sure that I mention this as we get much closer, but I wanted to make sure that I give a heads up since we did have to provide this information up front. And the election day is March 17th, 2020. End of report.
Thank you very much.
I have a question for the clerk. Is that, when you said Monee residents, is that including Monee Township residents?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, normally, we cancel the November 2nd meeting of the month, which falls on the 26th or 7th. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and I think I'd like to have a motion to cancel that meeting. Is there any discussion on that?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I'm sorry. I never get it right. It's okay. Roll call, please. This is to cancel the second meeting in November. What? Oh, okay. I'm being informed that we can't do a roll call vote. Why is that?
It must be
it's
put
not-
on the agenda first.
And there you go, playing the rules again. Okay, thank you.
So I'll have it on the next one for you guys to vote.
Okay. All right. Also, I'd like to have a committee meeting of the whole on the 19th at 7 o'clock. This meeting is going to pertain to all the different projects that we want to do in the next fiscal year. That would be November 19, at 7 PM. November 19th. Yes. You mean have both?
Instead of canceling the second meeting, make our second official meeting the 19th.
Whatever your wish is, you know, I mean, if you don't want to have the 19th meeting, you're suggesting that we move our second meeting to a different date.
No, I'm saying, because we wanted to cancel 11/26 and
Yes.
have a special meeting on 11/19.
Correct.
What if we moved our regular meeting, that 26th meeting, to the 19th? So it's not technically a special meeting.
David, do you have any reason we wanted to?
Yeah, it's a different meeting. It's a committee meeting of the whole. The public is welcome as well for input and so forth. And the agenda that the mayor is proposing thus far is quite extensive. Additionally, I believe the mayor was going to bring up, he has picked a date for an EMA tour for the trustees.
That's why 7 o'clock, yes.
On that same date. So that's what I understand.
Yeah, we were going to do a tour of EMA at 6 o'clock and then meet here at 7 for the special committee meeting of the whole.
And that's November.
That is November, November 19th. Do I need a motion on that, David? No? Okay. Anybody have a problem with it? Are we okay? Good. Okay. There's one thing I wanted to talk about for a moment, if you don't mind, to the public this is addressed to. And I don't want you to forget one thing. Myself and all the trustees live here too. And we are definitely trying to do the right thing on this confusing cannabis thing. So you're going to hear more about it later in this meeting. And we've already had 4 meetings on it. And maybe that isn't enough yet. We're going to find out. I'll leave it at that, okay? But don't forget that we're not trying to hurt the public. We're here to serve you. And I've always felt that, not patting myself on the back, but I ran as a people's mayor. And I get the trustees involved in everything I do. I don't think I've made more than 2 decisions maybe without a board. And the 2 decisions were trivial at best. So I try to keep them informed because they're representing you. And my administrator and our Larry, our lawyer, keep me informed. So end of my discussion and end of my report. So we'll move on to administrator's report. David.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Good evening. I'd like to start off my report with something that is not on the agenda. However, it deserves certain recognition. And I'd like to read a letter here, and congratulations to Kevin Daly, our Economic Development Coordinator. And this letter comes from Lawrence Walsh, the Will County Executive. It says, "Dear Mr. Daly, congratulations on your recent appointment to the Will County Workforce Investment Board. As you know, the work that is done on boards and commissions is the very foundation of government activity and personifies the essence of civic engagement. Accordingly, on behalf of the Will County government and the citizens of Will County, I thank you for your service and commitment to our community. I wish you the best of success in your future endeavors. As always, if you ever have any questions or if you ever need assistance, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Lawrence M. Walsh, Will County Executive." So I think it's duly proper to note that our Economic Development Director has been appointed by the County Executive to the Will County Workforce Investment Board and represents the Village of Monee once again in high standards, and we appreciate that. So. And moving on, item 1 on the agenda is the 2019 Pavement Restriping Program bid results.
The 2019 pavement restriping program was estimated at $43,696.25 by our municipal engineer, Jeff Agan, who happens to be in attendance this evening. The bid opening was held at 10 a.m. on October the 7th, just recently in the Village Hall here, and the following results. There was one bid that was received from Marking Specialist Corporation in the amount of $82,479.25. Since the bid amount exceeded the engineering estimate by approximately 89%, it is recommended the bid from Marking Specialist Corporation be rejected and the project be relet at a future date. Therefore, the motion requested this evening is to reject the bid from Marking Specialist Corporation in the amount of $82,479.25.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
I have a question. So as we're rejecting this bid, why can't we simply accept Jeff Hagan's bid?
I'm sorry?
Why can't we simply accept the bid that was given by our municipal engineer?
That was not a bid, that was a cost estimate.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any idea or any feedback as to why it was so high compared to what the estimate was?
Yes, very good question. In discussion with Superintendent Crizel and the municipal engineer, it's late in the season, number one, and number two is their striping season actually started late because of all the rain that we had early on. So it's just a matter of timing, and it just drove the price up if we really had to have it done, and it's not that critical to us for an 89% increase.
Yeah, so waiting till next year, we'd see a significant decrease in that.
We would expect that,
Gotcha.
yes, sir. Yes.
So Jeff couldn't stripe the roads for us then? Is that what we're saying?
He could, but
Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Horn? Yes. Trustee Racick?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Item number 2 on the agenda, there's a 2019 roadway maintenance program, the bid results. The 2019 roadway maintenance program was estimated at $571,833.75 by the municipal engineer, Jeff Agan. The bid opening was held at 10:15 on October 7th here at the Village Hall with the following results. 2 bids were received. The first being from Iroquois Paving Corporation in the amount of $427,719.45, and the second being received from P.T. Farrow Construction in the amount of $711,843.10. The bid from Iroquois Paving is approximately 25% below the engineer's estimate. Therefore, based on the bid results, the engineer is recommending the acceptance of the bid submitted by Iroquois Paving in the amount of $427,719.45. A copy of that engineer's recommendation letter was included in your packet, and the motion requested this evening would be to accept the bid from Iroquois Paving Corporation in the amount of $427,719.45.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Just a comment I'd like to make. I believe this work will be done this year, correct, sir? So this road work, close to $500,000, will be done this year.
Awesome.
Any other discussion? Not roll call, please.
Trustee Racick?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes my report this evening.
Thank you, David. We'll move on to the officials' report. Public Works, Trustee Horn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 3 items on our Public Works agenda as far as announcements goes. Public Works has started our fall fire hydrant flushing maintenance program to see the schedule for when we'll be in your area please visit our villageofmonee.org website. There you will find useful information if you encounter discolored water during this time. Item 2, branch pickup is scheduled for next week. Please have branches cut and facing the street. We also ask residents not to put branches out any earlier than the weekend before the scheduled pickup. As always, yard waste pickup is included in your utility billing costs and is collected every Friday during your scheduled garbage pickup. You can find details about this program at the village website as well. And then item number 3, recently the Village of Monee's 3-year lead and copper testing was performed in which 20 residents from the village participated in a water sampling from the household tap to have the sample tested for trace amounts of lead and copper. I'm happy to report that all our testing locations passed and no trace amounts were detected in any of the homes surveyed. Letters will be mailed to the participant homes, giving them the exact analytical result found with supporting information on how to read the testing results. The Village of Monee, just so you know, has passed all lead and copper testing and will not be obligated to test again until 2022. Thank you. End of report.
I'm sorry, did you say end of report? Move on to Parks and Recs. Trustee Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This past Saturday was Poochapalooza, our first annual Poochapalooza, which was very successful. We had a very good turnout, and it's safe to say that no one was bit, including other pooches. So I was rather impressed by the turnout, and also that the behavior of the dogs. I thought kind of it was going to be a little bit of a disaster maybe, but honestly it was really a good time with the community. People came out, interacted with one another, along with man's best friend, so it was a good time. Also, Monee Fire Protection had their open house, so we were able to go from one venue to the other, walk right to the other, and I'd like to thank Jim, who made that all, was working there also, volunteering his time, and they did a demonstration which was really nice to see up close and personal, especially for the children, and DJ was there also, just in case, no. That went really well. They actually did an extraction of a car where they used the jaws of life to tear apart the car to gain access and entry into the vehicle. So it was a good time, and thank you for that, the FD. Halloween happenings, Friday, October 18th, 2019, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Fireman's Park. Enjoy hayrides, trunk or treat, bonfire costume contests, and concessions and more. With that being said, we are also in need of volunteers. So we are in need of people, groups, businesses, or organizations who could participate in our trick or trunk for the Halloween happenings. Please email Diana Kroll, dkroll@villageofmonee.org if you can participate. Thursday, October 17th, the Village of Monee is hosting a Medicaid information meeting from 10 to 7 at the Gulf Vista Clubhouse right next door. Those who are 55 and older are encouraged to attend and are invited to attend for a Q&A, questions and answers for the Medicare current laws. End of report, Mayor.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry? Oh, yeah, what time is that? The last item?
It was 10 till 7.
10 a.m. to 7, or 10 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to Finance. Trustee Blue.
No report today, Mr. Mayor.
I won't say anything. Economic Development. Trustee Raisik.
No report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Building Services. Trustee Udris.
I do have a report for you tonight. A couple things. The Chamber of Commerce met last week, so a couple things from the Chamber. One that they wanted to highlight, Second Place Church over on Emerald Parkway is going to be having a Celebrating the Arts Saturday, November 9th from 5 to 6 p.m. It's going to be a free performance by Ballet 5-8. So anybody interested in that is welcome. Also, they just concluded their golf outing where they had, I believe, 19 participants that came out for it, and everybody had a great time. Lots of things going on with the chamber. Some stuff that's still in the works, so I won't spoil the good news coming up. But if you do own a business in town and are not involved in the chamber, please reach out. Their meetings are the first Wednesday of every month from 5 to 6 p.m. over at Frankie's. The more people that get involved, the more stuff that they can do, and the better it is for our village. They really do a great job. From our building services, those that don't know yet, Harold's Chicken is finally open. They got their final permit and have been open for, I believe, a little over a week now. So if you haven't tried them out, stop in and check it out. The new well and water tower is in progress. And during the month of September, 37 building permits were issued in town. The value of those permits was $1,031,075. So again, big things happening in town, very exciting news. 5 homes just this last month went on the market and have been scheduled for a resale inspection. End of report.
That was a great report. Let's move on to public safety. Trustee Gonzalez.
And I've got a short report tonight. Just a reminder that in conjunction with Parks and Recreation, the Monee Police Department is hosting 2 self-defense classes for women intended to give basic instruction on how to protect themselves from an attacker, as well as introducing them to environmental recognition. Be aware, right? Knowing your surroundings and not ignoring your instincts. Class will be held on Saturday, October 12th, this coming Saturday from 9 to 11 a.m. You can reserve your spot now through Diana Kroll at Parks and Rec at 534-8302. And as Liz alluded to earlier, Crime and Project Blue Eye is here and will be activated in the Highlands for his first tour of duty this week, right? This week. And MPD received training on the operation last week and in conjunction with IT and DPW, and we'll set the system up tomorrow. So that's pretty exciting, right? And part of the other public safety that I do, it has nothing to do with Monee Police Department, but it is public safety. And I want everybody to be aware, as you probably already know, it's October, it's pink, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So if you haven't already done so, for the women in your life 40 and over, have those mammogrammed, pretty please. All right, I'm gonna toot Kevin's horn once again. And Kevin has stood up this month to be an ambassador for Real Men Wear Pink for the American Cancer Society. So he's in great company and wearing his pink proudly today once again. So thank you, Kevin, for all that you do for the American Cancer Society as well. End of report.
Thank you, Heidi. There is no attorney's report, obviously, so we'll go to old business, retail sale of recreational cannabis. I'm opening it up for discussion right now.
Well, I would like to make a motion that the village offer a referendum via postcard to all village residents.
I would second that.
I don't know if it would be called a referendum, but a poll on our water bills, is that what you're saying?
No, just a whole separate postcard just specifically for this. We get it out as soon as possible, and they get it back to us.
So there'll be a card in there giving, with the postage paid
Yeah.
to mail back or bring in.
A mailing to all households.
What?
A mailing to all households.
Yes,
Is this for all registered voters or for every citizen?
every citizen. It would have to be every household.
Every household.
Yeah, just every house. I don't
So-
know how we would do this. Yeah. Or
So
no,
it wouldn't be to every registered voter, it would be to every household, which is different.
That's what you just said.
Yeah.
Every household.
Well, every household.
So that doesn't really poll everybody.
No, that's the only drawback.
I can't hear you. Please.
No,
go.
that would be the only drawback. So then how could we do this?
Can we make, if there's like 2 people in the household or 3 people who want to give an opinion, make copies of it? So there'll be 3 comments for,
Like, wouldn't we be able to pull a list from the county for all registered voters within the village?
but we need to hear from all residents, not just the voters.
That's true, too.
I know how we can do this.
What?
We can actually do our elected duty and vote on this. We've had 4 meetings. What are we waiting for?
That's not the
I
motion
can't
up
hear
on
you.
the floor.
That's not the motion on the floor.
This is the discussion section,
Yes.
so I'm discussing it.
Okay.
I'd like to respond to that, if I may, Doug. I don't think we're all clear on it. We're getting mixed statements, things from politicians who were involved in setting this up that don't agree with some of the language in it. We're hearing positive things on one side, negative on another, and we're here to serve the people. And if we can reach out to more people, that's better for us. That's how I look at it. Pretty simple about it.
I agree.
What
See all the
method we
residents
use
have
is
to say.
another thing.
Mr. Wallace, would you have anything to add to the motion?
I might, for consideration, if you want an exact poll, the way to get that is to run it just like a vote, where they need to come in, register, and vote. If you are looking for a general consensus per household, you could probably get a general consensus via a separate mailing, and what you're getting back is a household vote one way or the other. And if I might add, we would certainly, if this moves forward, you need to come up with a suggestion as to the
The language.
question, just to be very clear, simple, yes or no answer.
Yep.
Yes.
That's my input.
So we could have hard copies of them here at Village Hall and be able to have a PDF online as well?
Yeah, I believe if you're going to do a mailing, the mailing is direct. Every door direct mail is what we would do, and it would be delivered by the Postal Service. No copies should be accepted. There needs to be control on the amount of items. They should not be set out front. This is just my opinion. It's a control point. You're mailing it out to all the residents, addresses in the village of Crete, I'm sorry, in the village of Monee.
We don't need their input too.
Maybe we could mail it to Crete. But you're just mailing it out to all the addresses and asking for a response. You should expect a high level of no response.
But to Anthony's point as well, what if we have more than one person in the household that would like to participate?
I think at some level you have to be cognizant of the fact of how much effort you want to put into getting the results and what those differences will be. If it's strictly a household opinion, that's a fairly general consensus.
Not in every household, I'll
So
share.
my concern is that those who own multiple properties in Monee would have multiple votes. If we're going to vote, then we shouldn't be skewed. We should do it right. That's my personal opinion.
But if the postcard goes to the house, it's not, I mean, I would think you're not going to mail it to the landlord.
I don't
You're
want to
gonna mail
assume.
it to the house.
Yeah, I don't want to
No,
assume.
but
yeah.
I don't know how else you would do that.
In person is probably the best.
You mean hand deliver it?
No, they can come in to vote, identified with their ID.
Do you remember how many people voted last time?
Mhm. Probably half of those will vote this time.
I think if we're looking for as big a sample of the village as possible, in my
The-
opinion,
I-
I think we should mail it to every house.
I think we should
I-
have every person be able to answer it.
The fact that we had low voter turnout last time for this last municipal election would say to me that there are many people who either do not care or have no opinion on that. And they will go with what the people who actually take the time to vote. I mean, that happens all the time, right? I mean, a small sample of the village's residents voted for this board. They're going to do the same thing for any other vote that we take.
And I might even venture a guess that this one, we'd have more people participating than even in the election.
I would think so.
So would
I
it
would
be
think
a postage paid envelope, or would they have to put a stamp on it?
Postage paid.
No, postage paid.
And can we just use the same mailing addresses that we send out with the newsletter? So we have everybody's addresses already.
That covers more than the village. It also, I believe the
No, it's just
newsletter
village,
is
isn't it?
sent out to the
No?
township.
Oh, it's Will County too.
We can separate it, though.
What would be the cost of this? Does anyone have an idea?
How many households do we have, Dave?
It's estimated that, based on water bill mailings and probably the cost to print these postcards, it'd probably be in the neighborhood of $1,000.
Money spent, money well spent.
I guess the other question I have, if we're talking the difference between sending out a postcard versus having people come into the village, and I'm looking at the clerk's, people coming into the village like that for that kind of vote, is that something that can be handled here?
I will volunteer my time to sit in a box and count them.
Just my opinion, as far as, it's one thing to say you count them, but as far as how would you really go about controlling thousands maybe possibly coming in to say, okay, well, this one hasn't gone again, this one hasn't gone again, if you really are looking at everything that you have.
Hasn't gone again?
Having coming in to vote, as far as with checking names and everything, as far as with who's coming in. I mean, of course, there are ways to do it, but
And I don't feel that we have to check on who has responded and who has not. If they want to participate, then they know they have to participate. We don't have to,
no, I'm speaking of those coming in so that they're not double,
Voting multiple times.
coming in multiple
Taking advantage
times.
of it, voting multiple
Cook
times.
County voting.
Yeah.
Which is
Cook
probably,
County
you know,
rules.
that's what I
well,
say, our
then the
opinion.
address
Frequent,
should be on,
often.
maybe on the postcard too then, so we'll know the addresses. We can mark off. It's not, if it's a postcard, it's not $1,000.
I think we should simplify it. I mean, if we use the water bills, we're reaching a majority of the people.
Exactly.
And
That's what I want.
it's the simplest way to do it, to me. I mean, we could go with the postcard, you know, a mailing, if you wish. We could vote with booths and everything. It's your call.
I agree
It's your
that,
call.
I agree that I think the water bill is the simplest way. I just think if we do a separate mailing, we can send it out virtually right away instead of waiting for the next water bill cycle to come through.
Well, can we use the same format as the water bill and just have a different printed because it has the address and the stub, so you'll have two sides with the address on it,
That's
too.
a great idea.
Just use those, that exact thing, and with a check mark, boxes on the other side. Same format, because it already has the addresses on them.
That's a great idea.
We have some hands.
You have a suggestion, sir?
Well, I guess I just wanted to quickly say that, I guess I wanted to ask how long the process would likely take, just by saying that I'm applying in multiple locations, and if I didn't have a location set by the deadline of the application, I'd be forced to put a different city on there. So this might all be for a moot point. If it takes a certain amount of time, and it's not in time for me to put it on ballot. I'm not trying to say that I need to rush or tell you guys, suggest anything how to do it, anything, but I'm just giving you the reality that at some point, consultants are gonna say, we need to put a different village on the application.
We appreciate
I have 4 voters in my household. By the time the next election rolls around, I may have 6. Okay? So how do you send just me, because the house is only in my name, a card? You're only hearing me. You're not hearing my husband, my children. You're not hearing the neighbor's husband and children. You're not hearing everybody. So, I mean, here, I am just going to say, at some point, it's about personal responsibility. I'm 51 years old. If this is an issue that's important to you, come up here, get the postcard, write your name down, vote yes or no. I'm sure that Heidi, as she counts them, I'm happy to help her. We can notice if Rhonda Thompson put in 27 votes. We're pretty smart, okay? We don't have to count them as they come in. It's come in, get your postcard, write down your name, write down your address, Yes or no, put it in the box. I mean, I'm just saying, my kids may have a different opinion than me, and that's okay. I hope they have free thinking, but that's not fair to just send it to me.
I agree.
I will say, I believe that no matter which way we do it, we're reaching out more than any community in the state of Illinois. And I'm proud of that. I believe if it's not true, there's not many that put out a referendum or anything to
City of
question their
Chicago's holding
people.
10 of them.
Maybe a couple of meetings, that's about it. But
So did New Lenox and Chicago.
Mayor, I have some relevant information about water bills. My water bill goes to my landlord, and then charges me.
That's a valid point, too.
So if we did the mailings telling people that the vote will be here at Village Hall and you must come and put your name and on the postcard to put it in, like the ballot box,
we can do that. Is that okay?
then everybody in the
Kind of
household
order.
could vote.
There you go. Absolutely.
Might encourage more people to register to vote.
What's the period of time that they would be given in order to do this?
The deadline.
I mean, you can't extend it forever. It's got to be within the next week or something. As soon as the letter goes out, I would think that that is the criteria for whether it goes on another village or not. If you're interested in that.
Mr. Wallace, did you have?
Mr. Mayor, if I could interject, there's not going to be one way that satisfies everything. This is a poll. Polls have, plus or minus variations. You're trying to get a general consensus here, in my humble opinion. It's just about rattling the cage of the community to make them aware that this is of concern to the elected officials and are extremely important that you participate. Whether they participate is certainly going to be up to them, as Ms. Thompson indicated. And additionally, it's, you have to think of staff and how this is going to be done. And at the end of the day, there is a timeline for this board if you wish to opt out. And that would probably be the first board meeting in December, as historically you cancel the second board meeting in December. So the water bill, although it may seem like a good idea, you can't freehand on that water bill. That's a computer program, number one. Number two, it won't get mailed till November 1, 2, or 3, and it really cuts the timeline. If you want to do something, it's fine to print the postcards, mail them to every door direct, encourage members 21 and older of their household to come to the Village Hall if that's what you want to do. Pick up a ballot. If you want them to show proof of residency, that's something you can add on, but every layer encumbers the operation and slows it down. And again, in the end, you're not going to have perfect results. You're not going to have everyone that counted and everything of that. You'll only have those who participate. And right now, cannabis is illegal, and it's going to be hard-pressed to get people that, want to put their name to something and voting in favor of. So just food for thought, that's all.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so question, if this does end up going out.
You'll have to either come to the mic or talk louder. Sorry.
If the residents are able to vote on this, would the final vote decide what we end up doing with the opt-out, or is it still going to be the board's decision?
Obviously, this is what we want to find out. I mean, if it,
I would be very comfortable with us accepting the vote of the public and that being it, not having the trustees vote on top of that.
But I believe the vote is whether or not we have a dispensary in the village.
Yeah.
Right.
But we still, as trustees, have to make the final call.
Oh, yeah.
So are we all ready to hear what the public wants, that's what we will vote? We have to be ready for that. What if it goes against with what this board goes?
I'm confused. We're asking the public to vote, and then we're going to choose? I mean, surely whatever the number comes in at, the highest number wins, right?
Yeah.
So we've got nothing to vote on at that point because we've asked the public to make that choice.
But this postcard thing is not a legally binding vote.
I understand
Our
that.
vote is.
We will have to vote on on the ordinance, either to opt out or to remain in based on the vote from the public. Because if it's overwhelmingly a no for a dispensary, then that means that we need to pass an ordinance that opts us out.
I disagree. It's two
Okay.
entirely different things. We were voting on whether we want a dispensary in the village or not. I thought that's what this vote was about. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I know this goes to open to the public, okay? You six
We're being polite.
folks have the final vote. Last week, we sat here, Trustee Blue, you were not here, you had a room full of people voicing their opinion. Doug Horn, thank you. I appreciate what you said tonight, okay? You 6 people sitting here make the final vote, okay? Everybody here, you could do postcards, you could do whatever you want, but you 6 make this final vote.
That's right.
So please make this vote and don't drag this out anymore, okay? You're gonna go back and forth of who wants what, who likes this, who likes that. As I said last week, as a business decision, I think it's a bad idea. But please, make a vote, stand up, use what you were voted into this office for. And I'm thinking, you get a set, please, and make the right decision or the wrong decision, but please, make a decision. We can be here all night doing this, but make a decision, please.
I have no comment. I don't have no comment. We're trying to reach out to you guys, and you're clapping for not doing it. Am I correct? You just clapped for what the gentleman said.
I'll address the board. I'll be very respectful. I think the frustration comes, you set a special meeting, Mayor Pop. We came up here and we voiced our opinion. Everyone in this community, everyone in the village limits had the opportunity to be here. And the people that wanted to show up last week showed up. We weren't paid to be here. Nobody lobbied me to be here. I showed up because it was important to me, and the people that were here showed up because it was important to them. And we all didn't fall on the same side of the issue. And because I won't say that. For some reason, you heard us all out, and you heard the consensus. But we're going to redo it now. Because, well, this one didn't get represented. They had their shot. They've had their shot. And all I think Mr. Gray, former trustee Gray, is saying is, take your vote. We're going to go back and forth about postcards. Now it's going to be, well, who gets the postcard? It's an unfair process. It's an absolutely fundamentally unfair process to send one postcard to a house where 6 people might live. And the only person getting it is me because I own the house. Well, y'all know what I'm going to write. But you don't know what the other 5 are. And I represent one house in a huge bunch of homes that are in the same situation of me. College kids living at home. It's not 21 up, Mr. Wallace, respectfully. My son's 18, he can vote. We don't say just because he can't use it. He gets to vote. He has a vote. He'll be voting for all of you. Thank you.
It was merely a suggestion based on the age required to purchase, that's all.
We need to be fair, okay? I understand you want to hear the community. You invited them to come. They came. Now we're going to re-invite, or we're going to redo, or should we go door to door and write it down? I mean, I'm not knocking anybody who couldn't be here, but they didn't feel as strongly as a lot of us did that did take the time and did come. Your jobs are important, and you're doing good jobs, because I'm not here. I'm not here complaining. I appreciate what you do. I understand what you do. I did it. I don't want to do it. But again, you have been asked to take a vote, and because you didn't like what you heard last week doesn't make it different.
Oh, no, don't say
You have
that.
to vote for our community, and you heard
Less
what we
than
said.
2% of the community came here. And this is what we run
That's
into?
because they came for what's important. I am not judging anybody that didn't come. I don't come to 99.9% of these meetings, Mayor Pop, and you know it. And you know why? Because I trust the hands that are making the votes. I trust that you guys know how to select, how to do projects in town, how to, administer your village here. I trust who I voted for. I don't need to be here micromanaging, but when an issue is important to me and it's a hot-button issue to me, I'm here telling you, my elected officials, how I feel, along with many of these people in this room who came out. So when you say only 2%, because that's what mattered. That's what it mattered to them to be here. And they could have come tonight, and they're not here. So you just want to keep reslicing the apple, and it's fruitless. So I agree with Mr. Horn, and I appreciate that Trustee Horn made the statement he made. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So,
Just to refresh what's on the books right now, there's a motion and a second as far as with sending out cards. If you guys want to do something different, we'd have to take back these votes and make another motion. With what your decision is.
what do you think?
Does anyone have a motion they'd like to make?
We have a motion and a second.
A motion and...
We already have a
Okay,
motion and a
are we done
second.
discussing?
This is for sending out the cards.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Wilson.
No.
Trustee Udris.
No.
Trustee Blue.
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez.
No.
Trustee Horn.
No.
Trustee Razik.
Yes.
Okay. That ends that. So now I need to ask, I need a motion to opt in or opt out now.
We don't have to make it, I'll make the motion to opt out of the retail sale of recreational cannabis.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I would like to table this because it was not on the agenda.
It's on the agenda.
Retail sale.
The retail sale was, but not opting out of the program. The dispensary question was on the agenda. The opting out was not on the agenda.
Isn't that the same thing in different words?
No, it's not the same thing. You cannot have a dispensary and review it at a different time.
We have to vote on the retail sale of cannabis.
Right.
So what you have on the agenda is the subject matter of the retail sale of recreational cannabis. That is what's at hand here. It's whether you're going to allow that retail sale or not. Depending on that vote, automatically opts us in or out.
Yep.
You do not need an ordinance for that. It's a board action. If this board chooses to do nothing, no action will be taken. Retail sales will be allowed. If the board votes against the retail sale of recreational cannabis, then staff has their direction and the board has made the choice, no retail establishments for the sale of recreational cannabis. That is the proverbial opting out. There's no official action to go further than that, other than the vote of this board.
So let me reword it then. We need a motion to either approve or disapprove or disallow the retail sale of recreational cannabis.
Okay, so we had a first and a second to opt out. If you want to change it, then we need to take this out first.
Yeah. I do. I want a decision on this.
If you could take back off with your vote, and we're gonna do it the way that he just made the motion.
I think it's,
Anyone seconded it, David? I don't think anyone seconded it.
Wait, wouldn't Doug have to
Okay,
reword it?
so,
His motion?
Right, it was a motion in a second.
I didn't have a second, did I? to what I
Yes.
said? I did.
That was on.
no, no.
No.
That was in their motion.
There was a motion to opt out done, and there was a second. So you reword it and change it. If we're gonna do that, then we need to take this
No,
one
I
back
wanna
before we do
reword
that.
that statement.
But we can't vote on
It
it.
means the same thing as what's on this paper right here. What's the difference?
Right.
Yeah, for the minutes? Okay. I rescind my motion.
Rescind second. I mean, sorry, yes.
So I'm not sure what we're doing anymore. So,
Well, it's pretty simple. For the first time, I understand, David. We're trying to decide a motion to either end or have recreational cannabis or not.
so
We're already
the
in.
motion
Just need
as
a
I
motion to
presented it
opt
was to opt out.
Yes.
Okay.
Right,
Of recreation.
I guess my question is there a better way to word that?
Yes, sir.
yes.
What is that way?
Trustee Wilson has withdrawn his second.
I understand that.
If you happen to withdraw your initial motion, the suggestion would be that if you are against the retail sale of recreational cannabis, that the motion is stated as such, to not allow the retail sale of recreational cannabis.
The question would be to not allow the sale of retail. Okay.
Yes.
I'll rescind my first.
Now I need a motion. And a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
What's the motion for? To opt out?
No.
no, it's to rescind
To rescind, okay.
the sale of recreational cannabis. I have a question. So if we approve rescinding the sale of recreational cannabis, does that mean a dispensary can sell medical marijuana?
He hasn't applied for medical license.
That's retail.
No, it's just for retail.
I believe this is strictly recreational that we're talking about.
Medical places already have been established.
It's a different license.
Oh, no more medicals, it'll all be just one?
There's no more medicals available.
There's going to be a medical program, there's not going to be any more medical license at this time issued, probably never will because recreational will sell medical.
Can just say the same thing. Likely.
Through a scanning system.
Okay, so there's a first and a second. The motion is to not allow retail sale of recreational cannabis.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on that motion?
Yes, I have something that I'd like to say, and bear with me as I stumble through it. I personally remain at a point where I honestly, personally do not object to having a dispensary in town. I've listened to what everybody has said, both for and against. I am elected to represent the majority for this town and to do my best to represent as many in this town as I can. I honestly believe that from what I have heard from people and talked to people, that this town is fairly well split down the middle, whether it wavers one way or another in favor or against it. What has pushed me to the point that I will now vote against it is the fact that we're all looking into a crystal ball and we're all trying to figure out which way is this going to go. The hard part for me is I'm a huge supporter of our police department. I have a history of working with police departments. I spent, 2 decades of my life in law enforcement and emergency management. I personally, in my morals, cannot take the risk and put that on the police department for what potentially could become a problem for our village. So my vote will be no.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Blue?
The vote is to rescind the sale of retail cannabis,
Not allow.
not allow it. I can't decide if I'm voting yes or no now. Is it, if I say no, that means I'm voting against the motion? Is that correct?
If you vote yes, you're voting no to the sale of cannabis in Monee.
Okay, so I'm voting no.
I'm sorry, we have a question.
If I understood the motion correctly.
Okay, so the motion was to not allow retail sales of recreational cannabis within the village.
So it's a
So
negative.
if you're
So
saying
yes.
that yes, then you're going, that you don't want it. So that's what your yes is for. You're saying no, you're going against, and you want to be able to have a sale. Trustee Blue?
I just said no. Again.
Okay. Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
No.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other old business?
What was, I'm sorry, but what was the vote for, again, explain it, please.
Not gonna have it.
We're not going to have it.
Thank you.
Any new business? If not, open to the public, non-agenda items. If no one, a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Trustee Horn?
Yes.
Trustee Razik?
Yes.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes.
Trustee Udris?
Yes.
Trustee Blue?
Yes.